The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of the staff or management of Visionary Related Entertainment.
Aloha and welcome to Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show where you'll find us talking story with Maui's nonprofit executive directors and staff to find out how they're working to support the needs within our community. Maui Nonprofit Notes is generously sponsored by Pacific Source. If you're building or remodeling a home, please stop by Pacific Source's Cabinet and Appliance Showroom located in the Waikapu Base Yard. Why am I rushing?
I don't know.
I am, aren't I? Yeah, slow down, Susie. We got an hour. I'm Susie Tiemann, Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific, and your host for Maui Nonprofit Notes. During the hour, we share some of the experiences of our nonprofit agencies and just how they're changing lives, changing communities, and creating miracles of hope for those with needs. Today, we're going to start off the show talking with Andrea Hall-Rogers, who's the Executive Director of, let me get the right paperwork up here,
La'akea.
Yeah, you're right. You beat me by half a second. La'akea. And La'akea is what, Andrea?
Well, we are a licensed Medicaid waiver provider that provides meaningful work and great opportunities for youth and adults with autism and developmental disabilities, as well as affordable housing for those folks as well.
You know, I'm really off center of the day. I don't know why, but maybe it's because it's been one of those mornings where everything hit the fan. Mm-hmm. Yeah? 1 minute.
I've had one of those too.
Yeah, 1 minute
last
you're working with the
days.
IRS saying, what do you mean that that part of our organization isn't exempt? And then you're working with a realtor who's selling one of your houses over on Molokai saying, are you doing this for nothing? That's very nice of you. You know, and it just kind of jumps from one thing to another, and it's time to settle down, relax, take a deep breath, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, my morning started out with, there are 27 employees at La'akea, and we have about 20 people with disabilities whose lives we're organizing. And everyone has different needs, different schedules. Imagine, Susie, if you had a classroom with 30 students and every student had an individual curriculum and individual hourly that they came to school. Well, that's what a Medicaid waiver provider does. And so if you look at a schedule, because we don't really work with staff and clients, we have what we call a life-sharing model, which means we have mentors and we have participants. And our participants with disabilities, we call them our friends. So it's a very different setup. So when you look at our schedule, a week's schedule has 300 moving pieces.
Oh my gosh.
So consequently, this morning's schedule started with Michelle saying that she was with Paul from 9 to 5, and then Paul saying he was with Michelle from 2 to 8. So Michelle showed up at 9 to get Paul, and then, you know, Paul is his own guardian. He has high-functioning disabilities, but he also gets support during the day. And Paul wasn't in his apartment because he'd already left with Michelle. So we think, okay, Paul's gone holo. His phone's wet. He needs to get a new phone. We can't call him, so we're scouring Paia, wondering what happened to Paul. So, yes, I agree. Some mornings are like that.
And here he was doing what he was supposed to be doing.
Yeah, Michelle picked him up at 9 because that's what the schedule said.
Right.
It's not what Paul's schedule said, but it's what Michelle's schedule said. So, you know, you just got to laugh and move on and, you know, realize when you got 300 moving pieces on any given week, there's, you know, errors are going to happen.
Right. Oh, wow. I can't... I give in. My morning has been very easy compared to something like that because, I mean, that's people.
Yeah.
And your program is people.
Yeah.
And people with serious needs.
Yes.
For the most part.
And, you know, really from a very fundamental place, helping these people have a meaningful life. You know, recognizing that each one of them has goals and opportunities, and if they want a job, we're going to find them a job. And, you know, whatever their interests are, we're going to, you know, really tailor their individual day to meet those needs. So, you know, an example is there's a couple of people, two with Down syndrome and one just with disabilities, that really expressed to us that they wanted a job. And so, La'akea, we're, an organic farm. We don't have any GMOs on campus. We kind of are pretty strict with our approach to life. And so I thought about, well, where makes sense to get a job? So we started networking with Whole Foods because one of our friends lives in the apartments with her HUD grant behind Safeway, so she could walk there. So we were successful in getting her a job working at Whole Foods this year. And then two of our other guys that come up to the farm every day, it seemed like a logical connection was Flatbread Pizza Company. So we started networking with Flatbread, and one works as a hostess on Wednesdays, and one works stocking and doing other things. So they're employed with paychecks each week, working at Flatbread now.
Cool. So now, how do they get back and forth to work and so forth?
Well, in Jennifer's case,
I guess she can
walks,
yeah.
And then her mentor picks her up after work because she gets done at 2. So then the mentor is available to help her with shopping, or she comes back for a hula class or theater class, and so that's Jennifer. With Paul and Abby, they take MEO bus to La'akea in the morning. Well, Abby does actually. David actually lives in our group home, so he's
right
already
there.
Yeah. And then their mentors take them down to Flatbread and then pick them back up because it's only a mile away.
Right.
So we really have been working on networking with the shopkeepers that we think would probably understand what we're doing, and they've been very supportive.
Yeah, that's great. That's really a whole new venture for you. To get into this, because you started out basically everybody was going to be working on the farm or in the country store that you've got there on the farm and so forth, and going out into the community, that's a whole nother ballgame.
Well, yeah, and it's really self-determined. So it's really about their, each person's individual goals and what they're setting out to create for themselves. Our new country store, we actually employ one gentleman with Down syndrome, and on Fridays and Saturdays all day you'll meet a guy with autism that runs the store. So, and he's getting paid for his time there as well.
Wow, gosh, that's exciting.
Yeah,
that gives them a sense. It's got to give them a sense of pride that they're doing something, they're being paid for it. They're more. I would think that would make them more responsible for what they're doing within themselves.
Yes. And then and it takes a lot of networking and really being a community member and reaching out to see learn about them and what they're doing and what their needs are and where would be a good fit. I always joke around with all of the staff, which we don't call staff anyway, we call them our coworkers or our mentors, and all of our participants or friends. Those are the folks with disabilities. And as kind of the leader, I always say, if you ever feel like I've given you a 3-legged chair and I'm wondering why you're falling, please ask me to give you a 4-legged chair. And so I think about that a lot, setting people up for support.
Right.
But with we joke around with board members and parents and the mentors and the crew. I mean, La'akea has grown to like 100 people at this point. So there's just so many moving pieces, and trying to articulate why you don't bring a Pepsi to campus to the parents, or whatever it is. It's an ongoing journey of educating people about healthy lifestyle and really the potential and meaningful contribution of every one of our friends.
So that's why I leave my soda in the car when I come up there and talk to you.
You got it.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. I think the thing that intrigues me is it's like every time you come on the show, and you're on like maybe twice a year, if we're lucky, and you can get away that often, but it seems like you've just grown by leaps and bounds.
Thank you.
I mean, it's unreal. I don't know how you do it.
Well, we've got a team of amazing people. As you probably remember, Donna Ting was our founding board president, and she actually is now president emeritus. And about 1.5 years ago, Susan Graham, who's probably philanthropist of the decade, it became our board president. So we've had tremendous leadership. Donna Ting was just recognized as runner-up Realtor of the Year nationwide.
Wow.
For her work with La'akea. There's going to be a huge spread in Realtor magazine about her work.
Cool.
Building La'akea for the last 10 years.
Right. That's really all it's been, 10 years.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's always when's your beginning, you know,
Right.
when the 501c3 was written, when one thing happened. But I think of our actual beginning was 2010 because that's when we became a licensed agency with the Department of Health and we're having program happen.
Gotcha.
So in that respects, there was some, you know, foundational things happening the years, you know, getting the water meter and, you know, things like that that happened prior to, but really 2010 was when, the summer of 2010 was when we commenced our services up there.
Okay, so that's about the same time then that you got the property.
Well, we got the property a little sooner than that.
Did you? Okay.
But the first couple of years we didn't have a water meter, so you can't really do much without a water meter. So then, you know, we got the water meter Christmas Eve of 2009.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Memorable date.
Memorable date. Yeah, we actually, it was a funny story. We paid for a 5/8. Donna Ting paid personally for the 5/8 meter, and then the mayor at the time, Charmaine Tavares actually used developer credits to give us a 1.5-inch meter, so we have all the water we'll ever need for the entire build out of the village.
How wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So now, when you just brought up the subject of the village, how are we going on the plans for that? I know you had a planner working on some of the things.
Yep, we're contracted with Chris Hart and Associates to do our EA because the county lease does dictate an EA. We're in that process, getting all the proposals back. We've designed the master plan. We met last month with Carol Ryman at the Housing and Human Concerns office. They love the project, you know, I mean, because there's different pieces that we have to work through. For example, the 201H, we can't have we're working with a vulnerable population. So even though we're working with the 201H, we need to have an exemption from any kind of lottery for the housing. We need to, you know, build an intentional neighborhood where we, you know, can ultimately control who's living there.
Right.
So there's, you know, different pieces we have to work through.
Yeah. Interesting. But you are going to try for the 201H?
Yeah, they're doing a 201H
doing it.
as part of the EA process.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. So one of these days soon we'll see some houses. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember what the initial plan, which may not be what you're still doing, but you had some larger houses, some smaller houses, all in kind of like a cul-de-sac area.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I like to think of it more like a village green you'd see in the movies in New England. You know.
Okay.
Or maybe downtown Molokai, Lanai City.
Lanai City, there you go. Okay, I got you. That brings a sharp picture.
Yeah. So,
okay.
you know, so we're building an intentional neighborhood. So imagine, if you would, where all of you handpicked all your neighbors.
Right.
And so there's going to be people both with disabilities and without disabilities living together, you know, side by side. But each person is going to be hand selected, and they're going to know that they may be living next door to somebody with Down syndrome that, you know, could need some help here or there. But mostly we want to support them in having an opportunity to live independently.
Cool. Now, will you keep the house that you have now when that gets built?
You know, that's an interesting question. I've thought that. The board has never said either way because we own that house free and clear.
Right.
But it's become a decent asset for the organization. So whether they'll decide to leverage that into building or not hasn't been talked about. I mean, the next step upon finishing the GIA, because of course not the GIA, the EA, is you know, to do the EA we had to really build out the master plan of everything we could ever want to build on that 12 acres because we don't want to ever have to do another EA.
Right.
So even though the bigger plan is not what's going to happen, say, in the next 3 to 5 years, we did get $300,000 in the GIA this year in the state government to start the infrastructure on, you know, a segment of the campus.
Interesting.
Roads and infrastructure to prepare for building.
Right. For those who don't know what an EA is, it's an environmental assessment which is required for almost everything you want to build or any major changes you want to do on a piece of property. And that can take a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd say we're probably still a year from completion, and we've been working on it for about 8 months. So,
wow.
You know, I mean, if it happens sooner, great. But
Yeah.
we're not planning for we're still planning for a year.
Right. That's a major project for you because you've got no infrastructure up there. I mean, you got a water meter.
Yeah.
But there's no water lines going anywhere. There's no sewer out Is there sewer
Well, we're not
around
going to
there?
hook up to sewer because that area, there's no sewer on that section of Baldwin. So when we looked into it, it would cost us in the neighborhood of $400,000 to touch the sewer line in that location. So we're going to do septic systems. And we have one in there already that we're using for the day program campus. That's the appropriate size for our commercial kitchen and our day program facility.
Great. We got to take a short break, but we're going to be right back and talk about that commercial kitchen.
Thanks.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we are back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show where we talk story with our executive directors to find out what is happening in their world. And Andrea, your world is just expanding. I mean, honest, I can't say, really, out of all the people we talk to, I mean, other people add a program here and there, and just enhance what they've got. But every time I talk to you, you're on to something new and more exciting and more challenging for your clients, which is incredible given who your clients are.
Thank you.
You don't call them clients, I'm sorry.
No, we call them participants, but internally we call them our friends.
There you go.
So these are people with disabilities that, we're creating meaningful and productive opportunities for them. And a lot of what we're doing is being led by their needs. When we talked about the housing, well, what we were noticing, it's great to have a group home. I mean, we have one, and we'll probably have more. But a lot of people really want to live independently, and they get HUD grants, and they get their Section 8 voucher, and nobody wants to rent to someone with Down syndrome. And even if they do, they end up in a housing complex where they probably shouldn't go outside at night by themselves. And, we've realized that creating a lot of, one-bedroom HUD homes up on the property that folks can use their Section 8 housing vouchers would really be a great benefit for Maui.
Right.
And that's being led by our friends at La'akea and what they're telling us. So, one of our friends really wants to have a luau in September, and we said, well, if we're going to have a luau, we should have hula classes. So we found a hula teacher who now comes every Thursday and is teaching everyone who shows up hula dancing on Thursday afternoons.
Interesting.
So, it really is genuinely led by the impulse of the people that are with us.
Yeah. Wow. So now you mentioned the kitchen, commercial kitchen. Now this is for your products that you're producing from the growings at the farm.
You got it. So one of the things we did last year is we rebuilt a new store. We'd outgrown our little farm stand, and we built a beautiful new 500 square foot building kind of right on the road. And we've been using the Montessori kitchen up the road as our commercial kitchen to make jams and do dried fruit, that kind of stuff. And so it became more and more obvious that building a commercial kitchen was really the way to go, so we could feed that store and create work opportunities for the people that are interested in packaging things and canning and making pickles or whatever they're interested, a bakery. So we're kind of in the motions of that kitchen project right now.
Cool.
Yeah.
So let me get this straight now. I know last time I was up there, which has been way too long ago, you had some local farmers that were bringing things to sell at the stand to kind of complement things that you were growing.
Yeah, we still have that.
You still do that.
And then we have a lot of, of products in there. So we have, jams and hot sauces and pickles and things that our guys are making now.
Cool.
So
You got some real creative people.
real creative people. We got a lot of bikers that stop at the store, so having juices and things for them, snacks is real important because they just seem to always stop, as they're going down Baldwin Avenue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's neat.
And it's creating meaningful social interaction. One of the things that we struggle with is how do you create meaningful social interaction for people with disabilities, because they would tell you straight up that they want to have real friendships. I mean, we all want to have real friendships. So, always, at the forefront of everything we're doing is how do we create meaningful social interactions and help our friends really recognize, that's why we call them our friends, that they're real friendships and they're meaningful, they're worthwhile, they make a difference, and, we're going to set them up for success. No three-legged chairs, hopefully.
Yeah, interesting. Do you see any of these products that your friends are creating could really go someplace someday?
Hard to say. Probably our biggest product right now is we're making organic, grain-free, hypoallergenic dog biscuits. So that's our Monday project.
Okay.
So we sell them at Third Friday. So we'll be there this Friday selling our dog biscuits.
That's Makawa.
In Makawa Town Party. And we've been doing that for a couple months now. A wonderful man, Rishi, who's actually a pastry chef at Mama's Fish House, kind of stumbled onto La'akea one day, and lo and behold, our La'akea Dog Biscuit Bakery commenced the next Monday. And so the groups, and mostly we started the Dog Biscuit Bakery recognizing there was a lot of practical skills that we didn't need a commercial kitchen for. So our group's learning all the skills of making dog biscuits. So when we get the commercial kitchen, if we want to move into pastries or bakeries or anything, they've already had a lot of skills with the
Right.
dog biscuits as well.
They're ready for people food.
Yeah, but I think that actually the crew has been kind of taking the dog biscuits around to some different shops and stuff. So the dog biscuits probably are our biggest project that people are really excited about right now.
So if somebody wanted to buy some of those, what's the name on them?
It says La'akea Dog Biscuit Bakery.
There you go. How cool. That's
Yeah.
neat.
Yeah, so we'll be up at, other than in our actual country store, which is open Tuesday to Saturday, 10 to 5, every Makawa Town Party we set up, and the guys from the house run the booth and sell the
fun.
dog biscuits. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Go through that list of what the dog biscuits are.
So they're, well, we have many different ones, but the bulk of them are grain-free, hypoallergenic, and organic.
Oh, okay.
So, but they do, a hip and joint version and a healthy coat. And so they put different things like parsley and, aloe from the farm or eggshells from the farm, or different ingredients that we kind of have around La'akea
Yeah.
that they can use for, based on the type of dog biscuit they're making that Monday.
Interesting. Wow, that is creative. I would have never thought of that. And the idea of doing something like that because you don't have the kitchen in operation is perfect. It's great practice.
Great practice, and it's turned out to be a really fun project for everyone. And one Friday I was up at the Third Friday, and I felt like there must have been 30 La'akea people milling around the crowd. Everywhere I turned, there was another friend or a husband of a friend or a client or a staff member, or it was just amazing. It's like I was joking around saying, "Okay, La'akea, we are everywhere." And so it's real sweet though, because when there's a lot of us, then if some of them want to go off and dance or whatever, it's safe for them. It's a
Right.
safe environment for them to feel independent and have a real social fun time together.
Yeah,
So.
that's great. So now at the home that you have, it's full.
Yeah, it's full.
I think it's always been full,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a great part with a wait list, because there are others that would like to be there. But most of your friends come for the day program.
It's about half and half. We have 5 residents in our home and 3 apartments that we help manage through Section 8, where we provide the support for the housing. So there's 8 people in the kind of the residential component, and then there's the rest of them are coming in the day program. One of the real exciting things that's happened recently is we've been able to partner with Maui High and King K through what's called their Workplace Readiness Program. And that's when kids have already walked the line with disabilities, but they legally can stay in high school till they're 22. And they're trying to find the natural way to transition these kids. So we've been having, every day a bus comes from King K right now and brings people through their workplace readiness program. And then Maui High, they don't get the bus every day, so they tend to come a larger group less often. But it's an opportunity to, apply language art skills or math skills to something that's tangible at La'akea to help set those students up for the next phase, whether they stay with La'akea or go out in the community with their disabilities and actually get their own job. They're having experience rather than doing math on a homework sheet in a classroom. They're data entering farm stand records into the Excel spreadsheets. So, it's just a different take on the same programs.
She continues to excel here with this program. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, we really like having the high school kids coming down because, to transition them right out of high school where they've been showing up every day anyway, getting on the school bus, getting there at the crack of dawn, and to transition them right into a work type environment, it's just so much better for them than kind of, wandering around the mall all day after school's over and gaining 40 pounds or, whatever. We keep them, kind of going right from the get-go with a much more healthy lifestyle that's kind of tailored to what they're telling us their interests are.
Now, is there a funding source for this program?
We're actually billing Department of Education directly this year.
Okay.
So that's a new relationship between La'akea and the Department of Education.
Yeah, it's perfect. That's a win-win.
Yeah.
Wow. Our time is up. Can you believe it? Did we talk about anything you wanted to talk about?
No, just the store is just growing. We're doing a lot of fun things. So it's a much bigger building. It's indoors. The group's having a great time. So come by Tuesday to Saturday, 10 to 5, and see what we're doing up there. Because most people are pretty wowed when they end up at La'akea. Over there in Baldwin Avenue.
Gotcha. That's great.
We're wowed.
Yes, I'm speechless.
Thank you.
It's awesome, Andrea.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. La'akea, what is it?
We are a life-sharing community that includes youth and adults with disabilities.
There we go. It says it all. 639 Baldwin Avenue.
You got it.
Swing by and take a look and see what's happening. Now, when you say the store is open Tuesday through Saturday, is Monday kind of a day when everybody's working out in the fields or whatever instead?
No, Monday's Dog Biscuit Bakery Day.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry. Everybody's in the kitchen.
There's not a lot of farming going on there. We have our
Yeah.
animals and we have our gardens and we have our fruit trees, but, being out in the hot sun is not, we're more focused on the nursery and the animals and
Gotcha.
the fruit orchards. So,
Cool.
But if you stop by on a Monday and the store's closed, you can still come check out us baking dog biscuits.
There you go. Wow. Whew. Okay. Tremendous. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I think we're going to see you in a couple months when you have your big event again.
We'll talk again in November.
Your annual.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks, Andrea.
All right. Take care.
Everybody up at La'akea, what a program. I can't say enough good about it. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, I've been there a few times, checked it out, talked with some of the friends that are there, and I'm speechless. And I'm never that way, but this program does it to me. So keep up the good work.
Thank you, Susie.
Thank you. And our second guest today is Cassandra Abdul, who has been with us a few times this year talking about affordable housing. She's with Nahaleo Maui. And you finally got to buy your lots in West Maui.
Yes, we did. What an amazing thing.
It only took, 12 years?
Took a while. That's the bane of developers, is being able to get to the point where they can actually have entitled land that they can then sell to people like Nahaleo Maui and Habitat for Humanity, and do workforce housing.
It's going to be interesting. Did I hear somebody say that they've sold the first of the West Maui land houses?
I believe so. The three partners, I believe, form separate LLCs, and they have been building homes very quickly, and I believe they've already closed on several of them, and people are living in the homes.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really nice.
That's really encouraging. So they were ready to go when they got the word.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
After all that time.
Yeah, and they were prepared to go ahead
Yeah.
with it. Yes. like some of us.
Right, right.
And Habitat just had their groundbreaking on Saturday.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, so they'll be building 10 houses there, self-help,
Okay.
and that's exciting too. So
Right. So now they
got
go
going.
through a selection process, and
Yes.
it's actually the owners that are building
Yes,
through the Habitat program.
correct,
And that's the self-help is self-building, I guess, is
correct.
one way to put it.
I believe that they contribute 500 hours of help, either to other home owners or buyers, or in the store wherever it's appropriate for them to work, and then about half of that goes into their own home.
Interesting. And that can be, they bring in their family, friends, and everybody to help.
Yeah,
The more help they have, the faster the home gets finished.
absolutely, and those hours add up.
I'll bet. So now, last time we talked, you were still working with your architect on a finished plan.
Yeah, and we are still there. It's a challenge. The lots are not symmetrical or regularly shaped. They're not all rectangles. And the street curves. So we have had some challenges fitting our house plans onto the lots.
Now, are you looking to do one plan, or are you going to end up with several plans as a result of that?
Originally, we wanted 2 plans that we could register with the building department.
County?
And then that would help us time-wise as well as cost-wise for future permits.
Right.
But as we took a look at the different lots, it looks like we're going to have 4 or 5
Oh my
different house
gosh.
plans. Yeah. So that's been the real challenge. Houses that will fit on those couple of really strange, irregularly shaped lots, rather. If we put them on the others, we want to make them a little bit larger. So it's been a challenge,
Yeah.
but we're getting there.
Can't just move the walls out 2 feet in every direction or any of that kind of stuff. There's more to it than that.
Not if you want to register it. If you move walls, and it's another.
It's another plan. I got
Yes.
you. Okay. There's a little caveat in every deal.
Yeah. So we're going to build more than we thought. It's going to be either 4. We may have 4 or possibly even 5 different plans, and we're working hard at that.
Yeah. Now, have you selected families yet, or
No, we have not.
Okay.
Until I have my plans, I won't have my prices.
Right.
I need to get my financing in place, and once we have that, we'll know where we will be in terms of the cost of the homes to our home buyers.
Right. And that'll set up the criteria that they'll have to meet.
Correct, but they will be significantly less than the HUD tables that were printed for the subdivision.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you're trying to beat the numbers like we did.
Absolutely.
Trying to get people truly affordable houses, which everybody just kind of chokes when you say
Yes. Truly affordable, plus that people can qualify for the loans.
that. Right. Right. It's a two-way street, and not always going in the same direction.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't make any sense at all, does it? What is it?
Made sense to me.
Okay, all right. We're on the same. Oh, that's bad. If you're on the same wavelength with me today, it's one of the. We talked earlier. It's one of those days.
Yeah.
So, do you have any anticipated timeline?
That timeline keeps
Moving.
stretching and
Gotcha.
moving. Yeah. We would like to be able to really get going in September or October.
Oh, okay, that's not that far away.
Yeah. But my sense is that we probably won't really been breaking ground on the houses themselves until the end of the year.
Yeah. How about that? That's when we hope to be moving people in.
I know. It's just amazing what you've been doing over there on Mokuhau.
I know. I was at a meeting yesterday afternoon, and there was this one guy. It's a group that meets once a month, and I've been giving a report on the status of the project and this and that. And the guy lives out in Waihee, and he says, I come down that road, and I keep looking over there, and he said, I expect to see something. And he says, I'm not really sure where you are. He said, I've never turned the corner and gone down Mokuhau Road. And I said, well, you shouldn't have to, because you can see it from that turn. And he said, I did. Yesterday, I'm coming down the road, and I look over there, and he said, all of a sudden, there's 2 houses right at the street, in front. And he says, now I know what you're talking about. And I said, yeah, okay. And he said, so then when he went home, he drove over there, and he said, I see what you're talking about, all the houses behind him that have been built over the last year. He said, that's great. And so, yeah, we're really excited about that. But if I can take just a moment, we did have some bad news this week. For all of you out there who know Hans Ricci, he passed away on Thursday. The giant gentleman of all times in my book. He was our architect for our projects, and it's one of his favorite things to do was to help us with all of our projects.
Hans actually designed the farm stand at La Quilla.
Did he really? Yeah. See, that was his passion, helping the nonprofits with. And I've heard so many of these kinds of stories that he helped us do this, he helped us do that, but when he sold his portion of his business, Ricci Sunland Kono Architects, and retired 25 years ago, even maybe now. This was his thing. He was going to make the community better, and he has. I mean, it's just an incredible loss to this county, and something that people won't realize for a little while. And it's like, who's going to fill this void? And so it was just a sad day when his daughter called me and told me he'd been in hospice for about 10 days, maybe 14 days. But I said, I keep looking up from my desk, expecting him to be standing in the doorway to tell me something. And I don't know. It's again, I'm speechless. I don't know how to express the loss that we feel. He's so on top of everything that everything is in place. I mean, we're not going to skip a beat, because we are this far along. And it's like, he was prepared. I mean, I just think that's the kind of guy he was. So anyway, I just share that with everyone, and sad to say it's something I feel I need to share, but I know our buyers are saying this makes these houses even that much more special to them, because there will be no more new ones. He did register this particular plan, and so it can be used again. We've got the rights to use it, and who knows? We'll see what happens. And I'm getting the high sign that I need to take a break.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we are back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show where we talk story with our nonprofit executive directors about what's going on in their lives. In the first half of the show, we were talking with Andrea Hall-Rogers of La Quilla. And the second half, we're talking with Cassandra Abdul, who is the executive director of Nahalio Maui, talking about the project that you're working on over in West Maui. Now, you've got a couple of other houses that you're fixing up. They're repossessions? Is that what they are?
Actually, we're working on one house in Kehalani that we bought at foreclosure in 2015. It just took a long time for it to work its way through the courts, and we closed on it earlier this year. So we're, and that's a huge renovation. So we're in the midst of that. We hope to be finished at the end of this month or early September. Then we are also buying back a home where the family ran into some issues, and there was actually a foreclosure that was started. But what we've done is we have worked with the lender, worked with the homeowner. We are going to buy it back in escrow using our resale formula. They'll be able to pay off the lender, and everything will be straight. Then we will sell that house. And amazingly, people move into our homes and they say, I'm never leaving. I'm going to be
Right.
here forever.
Right.
We have a third
Oh, no.
home
Oh, no.
in Kihei. And Nahalio Maui has a first option to purchase the home back. But because we have so many things going on with this one house, with the subdivision out in Lahaina with 12 homes, we're not in a position financially to buy back this home. So what we are doing is working with the home seller, to work with our qualified buyers. So we will put them together and we will find another qualified family to live in the home.
Wow.
So we've got, 12 plus 3 going on at the same time with a very small staff.
I was going to say, it seems like 30, doesn't it?
Yeah, it
When,
does.
when you start talking multiples and different situations on all of them.
Yes.
And that's what, that's what this one it's being sold on Molokai. It's the only one in the whole system that we have that's in perpetuity. And it's like, okay, where is it said, where is it stated? Is it in a document that was filed with DCCA, or, is it just in the documents we sign with each buyer? What's the deal? And working with USDA, because they do the financing on all the homes in that subdivision, because they are really, truly low income. Most of them are 60% or below over there on Molokai that are
That's
buying these homes.
very tough to do.
And it's so we said, we just have to make sure we keep that in there, because we certainly don't want to, lose one of these because we missed a step.
Exactly.
Anyway, so it's not my half hour, it's yours. So one of the things that we were talking about was, you mentioned something about, we haven't talked about the Nonprofit Directors Association for quite a while.
Yes.
And that's what this show is all about. And it's because of the nonprofit directors that we do this show. About 8 years ago, we started the show just kind of, I don't know if it was a whim or what, but we just kind of said, we don't go out and seek publicity as an organization. We're busy working within and with the different executive directors to, we always say, we'll just say what the purpose is or what the mission is and get it over with. Okay. So the purpose of the association is to provide an opportunity for nonprofit agency directors to gain personal and professional support through cooperative development activities. The association shall also provide an opportunity for networking to affect significant positive change in the community. That means whatever you want it to mean. I mean, it's nice and broad, but it's also specific, in that we know that as a group of agency executives, we all have our own areas of expertise, and our clients come from various surroundings and situations, but we all need to know how to work with people, number one.
Yes.
You can't be an executive director and not do that. If you don't, you're in the wrong place. But as an organization, we average, about 60 members?
Actually, I think it's a little higher than that.
Is it a little
now.
higher than
Yeah.
that? Okay. So let's say 60 to 70.
Yeah.
And we've got really small agencies that 1 or 2 people. And then we have the larger agencies like the Hale Mahaolu, Hale Makua, MEO, those kinds of organizations that have hundreds of employees. And then there's Nahalio Maui with, 4? 3? 2. Oh, my goodness.
2.5.
2.5. Oh, okay. That's a big one right there. And we all try to keep the number of employees down, because that's money we want to keep in the programs.
Yes.
And so we do various things that bringing in volunteers in some cases consultants to do specific things, whatever. But we all strive to reach the goals that we've set for our agencies. I mean, that's what it's all about. And how we do it, we probably do it in many different ways, and that's fine. There's no one set, there's not one road that you can go down and follow a path that everybody can do the same thing.
Exactly.
So every year, the Nonprofit Directors Association gives out awards to members who, member agencies who have, one of them is a Humanitarian of the Year award, and that is tell me what the Humanitarian of the Year award constitutes. No, okay, I'll tell you. Basically, this is somebody who has dedicated themselves to working with your agency to strive for something, some program you do, or has just given untold number of hours towards something for your agency that they don't bill for, but is in their line of work. Over the years, some of the people that have won this award, Ed Lindsay, Daryl Banks, Christina Lyon Lambert, Sharon Woodall, John Hoxie, different people doing different things for the agencies. Gladys Cachola Gross was the first person to get this award. She was out in the homesteads, up country. What's that homestead out by Grandma's?
Oh, the Waihui, Kiokea?
Yeah, no, the homestead farmlands up above. I can't remember. They have like a big garage sale every year, and
Yes, the Kiokea.
yeah, it's in the KOK area. Yeah. Anyway, she was kind of the pusher and shover to get that whole thing together. And I was trying to remember which agency had nominated her, but I can't think who it is now. That should have been on this list. Shame on me. And then, so those are the individuals that they've honored. And then the Business of the Year is an honor that they give. And that's to a business who has most likely come in and, again, done something either for an agency or it could be collective. Like one of the winners was Soup to Nuts Vineyard Foods. Now, they've probably helped every agency with a luncheon or a dinner at a low cost, so it can be a fundraiser for them. And now they have their own location, and they do, I think some nights they have dinners where it's just open to the people that relate to that agency. So it's kind of a low cost, low effort fundraiser. Other companies that have been honored over the years, Betzel Brothers, Ho'aloha Na Eha, that's the old Lahaina Luau, Bev Gannon's catering company, Boeing, Meyer Computing, Hansador, HCNS. Names we all know, but they have done something or another for an agency or for a group of agencies, and it can be collective. It's not necessarily something they did that year, but they were nominated by an agency, and the criteria of what they did is what earned them the award. So those are the two awards that are outside, I guess, outside. Well, we can't call them outsiders. I mean, they've helped the agencies, but they aren't part of the agency.
Correct.
The other big award that we give is the Executive Director of the Year, and this traditionally is an executive director of an agency that's a member of the nonprofit directors. And again, this is a collective award because it's not something they specifically did in any given year, but it's a culmination of things. And it's like the nominations come from usually somebody like the chairman of the board of directors or within the agency who just says, hey, this person needs to be honored.
Yes.
So actually, that award has been given. This is going to be the 21st annual award.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it is. And as I look back over the list of award winners, I mean, these are names that are outstanding. The very first winner was Gladys Bisa. And that's appropriate. I mean, how appropriate is that?
Yes.
The second one was Joanne Riddell, who was the predecessor at my place. Kendra McKenna from Women Helping Women, Roy Katsuda from Hale Mahaolu, Dr. Greg Lagoy from Hospice Maui, who we have here on the radio from time to time, Charles Ridings, who used to be with Maui Economic Concerns or Kahale Akeola, Samuel Millington from Hui Malama Learning Center, Sean McLaughlin from Akaku Community Television, Sandy Freeman from Maui Adult Daycare Centers, Tony Krieg from Hale Makua, Jocelyn Bouchard from Maui Humane Society, and those awards were all given by the J. Walter Cameron Center. They had established this award. As you know, the J. Walter Cameron Center is the center here down on Mahalani Street where, there's something like 20, 25 agencies have their offices, and this was a very fitting thing for them to do. And in 2007, they decided that they had other things they had to spend time on. I think a lot of the time has been spent on renovating the place. And it shows. It's a great makeover that they've done over there under Cesar. So then the Maui Nonprofit Director said, hey, we don't want to lose this award. We're going to take it over and continue presenting it. And so they've presented it to Ray Henderson from Ohana Makamai in Hana, Sherry Dodson at Habitat for Humanity, Randy Ichido, who was AD of Friends of Children's Justice Center, Dana Alonzo Halworth of Malama Ike Ola Health Center, or otherwise known as the Community Clinic of Maui, Paula Ombre at the Maui Farm, Rich Eust of Maui Food Bank, Paul Tonneson of Friends of the Children's Justice Center, Lox Abraham of Maui United Way, and last year's winner was Jerlene Bryant of Maui Humane Center. Just an outstanding list of people, and you can see they're all award winners.
Yes.
Of course, I think everybody's an award winner. If you're an executive director, the award is just kind of the icing on the cake.
Yes, it is.
So anyway, the nominations are open now. If you know of somebody that deserves one of these 3 awards, please contact an agency within the organization and make sure that they consider them as a possible nominee.
Yes.
So they can turn it in. I think it's through September?
I believe so. The beginning of September.
Yeah, and because it's just I can't say enough about what everybody does, and you can't give awards to everybody, that's for sure. But I think it's noteworthy that somebody thinks enough to make that nomination, and we always say they're outstanding in their field. When that reminds me of that picture of somebody standing out in the field, right? But it's a great honor, and it's the event where they present these awards is going to be in October at the MAC this year, right?
Yes, October 19th.
October 19th. So be sure if you know somebody who has given special time and talents, either through their business or themselves to an agency, bring that to somebody's attention in an agency, and then let's have a great turnout of nominations this year.
That would be wonderful.
Did I cover it?
I think that you did.
Anything else you wanted to say about it? We got to close up shop here.
Yeah, no, just that, the Maui Nonprofit Directors Association is an amazing group, especially for smaller organizations that don't have the staffing. And really, when you just start in, there is just a wealth of knowledge, and they are so generous in sharing that and caring that it's an organization that is truly amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. But then I'm kind of prejudiced because I was president 3 times.
Oh, there you go. And you're still doing this radio show.
And I'm still doing a radio show 8 years later. Anyway, we got to close up shop. The Maui Nonprofit Notes is sponsored as a community service by that wonderful company, the Pacific Source, the Builder's Choice. Give Paul and his staff a call at 986-0380 or stop by their showroom in the Waikapu Base Yard on East Oahe Way to see how they can help you with your building project. I already said what the purpose of the association is, and that was my next line, so I can skip that, Gary. Am I ahead of schedule?
You're ahead of schedule.
Whoa, okay, so let's talk about some things. Please visit the website for the Maui Nonprofit Directors Association at mauinonprofit.org for a list of member agencies. If you see an agency listed there that you'd like to find out more about, click on it. It'll take it to their website, or give them a call and talk to them. Today we visited with, who do we visit with? Andrea Hall Rogers of La'akea and Cassandra Abdul of Nahalio, Maui. We got an update on what their agencies are doing. If you heard something today that makes you want to get involved with one of these agencies, call them for more information on their programs. Mahalo for tuning in. Don't forget to join us again next week, right here on Wednesday at noon on KAOI Radio, 11:10 a.m., and on the FM dial at 96.7, 96.5 on the west side, and 98.7 upcountry, when we'll be featuring representatives of 2 more member agencies of the Maui Nonprofit Directors Association. Until then, I'm Susie Tiemann, Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific, and your host for Maui Nonprofit Notes. We want to thank you all for joining us today. Gary says, I've got some time. What can I say, Gary? We say thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
You're so good. We love you. Have a great week, everyone. Aloha.
Aloha.